Well, hello everyone and anyone watching. My name is Andrew, and on today's episode we will be doing a simple portrait sketch. No, it's not the realistic portrait that you're seeing on YouTube. That will take forever. And no, we are not going to do any colored portraits either, because that will take longer than the realistic ones. For you not to be overwhelmed, I will be teaching you on how to do a simple portrait sketch in grayscale. Anyways, the purpose of this exercise is for you guys to get familiarized on how to do measurements, perfect the foundation of a successful portrait. Now with this, I can guarantee you that you'll not be overwhelmed. I try to make this as easy as possible for you guys to follow through. And if you want to draw with me, if you want to draw along, please do. But if not, you can just go ahead and try to take some notes as well. So without further ado, again, our subject is Miss Bella Poarch. We're not going to copy the entire, as if like it's a photorealistic portrait, but it's just a simple portrait sketch. Using, of course, if you're doing it digitally, of course. All right, so let's get started. Right on cue. Right, so let's get started. So we're going to make a simple portrait sketch of Bella Poarch. Now I find her face very, very expressive. So when I do portraits, the first thing I think of is what's the proportion outside the face. As you can see on the reference, let's see if we can manage to replicate that. Excuse me. So let's start. Now she's kind of leaning toward the side there, so hopefully we can. Now we can do a messy stuff first. I'm using a charcoal brush on this. Alright. Now this part right here, that will be the end of his, the topmost part of her head, which includes her hair. And hopefully this will be like the end part of her cheek. So what we do is kind of it's not a fully straight position. So initially these are just initial sketch, so you can just you can do whatever you want. So this would be like her hair, right? Now if you measure, or her nose ends, let's say it's right here. Okay, put some lines here. Anyways, you can do a messy sketch at first. Anyways, still will be erased. But the main point here is for you to have a minimal changes if you decide to change something. Now, if you will notice, her side of her cheeks is straight, and the other one slightly diagonal. What we do is we kind of do it like that, right? We try to replicate how the angle is and then transfer it here. So at least that you can replicate how slanted it is. Alright, so that will be where this line represents, like here at the middle, and then you can go straight, put it on the side right there. One thing that portraitists do is they do like an imaginary line, or vertical lines, just to know the placement. Placement is everything. Now again, we're not trying to make a realistic portrait here, but we're just trying to get the essence of the face. Now in most cases what I do is I kind of lessen the opacity of the brush and do it like that. Maybe a little bit. Okay. Now that will represent the bridge of her nose. And then I also put something right here. This will resemble the this part right here, the bottom part. Well, we can modify that in a sec. Okay. Then what I do next? Now the eyebrows would be like here. If you will notice, I'm measuring the edge of the eyebrows to here, so that if you will notice that measurement, based on her measurement, is somewhat, it exceeds just right about there, right? But oh, sorry. But that will be the tip. That will be the tip of the head. So measure, and then just use your instinct, right? So I'm going to erase that to avoid confusion. Erase that right there. Now, the bridge of from the cheeks to the bridge of the eyebrow will be the same as the measurement on the side. So at this point, this thing right here. So this measurement, let me just get a delay here. So for example, the bridge of these two, if you're going to measure that, it should be the same length, but you also take note that you need to put the line on the middle of the nose, right? So based on that measurement, our measurement is way off. Good thing we're using digital here, so we can just go and modify. Let's see, over there. And I think we need to do the same on the other one. Sorry guys, it might be in the long haul for this one. All right, now since we have identified, you know, the size or the proportions, it's okay for you guys to take a considerably long time getting the proportions right, because it's just like, you know, it's like investing on something, right? If you do the shortcut, it might bite you back once you get to the details. All right, so this would be the tip of the nose, right? And that will be the eyes. All right, now you always leave a space on these area, because that is where you're going to determine where the brow is. And you know that like on a car, like a windshield, most artists tends to do this kind of stuff, sometimes like that, but I prefer this one, like a windshield shape, so that you will know exactly. Now, it's always a rule of thumb that the distance of the eyes between this is the same. So I'm gonna do an initial measurement here. So that, I'm gonna see for this one. Let me just so the measurement of the eye, for example, this one, we're gonna do that reset. We're gonna do that. Now, is it? See, that is where the eyes end, and then where the other eyes meet is always the same, unless of course it depends on the facial features of the person. And then okay, so that would be the distance of the eye. As long as you get the measurement right, then you're good to go. Now let's just minimize. Okay. now for the eyes. So for example, this is the eyebrows. And then I just go in. It's always a good practice to keep on looking onto your reference most of the time, because that is where you keep that is where like you always want to be conscious with the measurements. Okay, now she has like big eyes, right? So what we need to do, I always used to smooth this one right here, that thing over there, because if you have hands which is, you know, jittery, that will be a very useful tool for you. Now for the eyes, I'm actually trying to figure out the outermost part of the eyelids, and then now if you will notice the eyebrows here, that will be the end. Be sure to make a small space, and same goes here. Okay, now this is the tear ducts. Now is this the right measurement? Yeah. She has a very rounded eyes. Again, we're not trying to do like a realistic portrait here, because if it is, then it will be a very long time for us to finish this. I can assure you that. Sometimes it'll take me hours, you know, take me hours to do these kind of things. Or it is what I call the dirty stage. Okay, now you will notice that her eyelids is exceptionally showing here. Is it too big? I guess it is. Okay, I think we need to reevaluate. Now you cannot do this if you're using like the traditional way, but for the sake of time, so that will be this. I always imagine like imaginary lines so that I will know exactly where the corner is. For example, on this eyebrow, right? It's not that straight. And then I always, for example, this one right here, that's the end of her eyebrow, right? The end of the eyebrow should be like here as well. I think that is where I made a mistake. Hence, the eyes should be somewhere here. Yeah. The basis of that is I always do a mental measurement. Okay, so imagine like an invisible grid, right? So, that being said, okay. Now her eyes are kind of goofy. Almost covering the tip of the eye of the iris. Is that what you call it? I don't know. Now, most artists tend to do this because that will be your basis for the shadow. If you will notice that this part right here, it will always cast a shadow. Not that much, okay, but it will give you a sense of depth. Sometimes If you have time, if you want to, to establish the shadows, by all means do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Okay, we just wing it. Now for the mouth, I know some of you guys, including yours truly, is having a problem with the mouth, right? So what I do is I do like that. If you will notice, every time that if I can't make it using like that line, I will just do this thing right here, and I'll show you why. Now, it is your discretion if you want to hide these lines. And then we see that these are just guidelines anyways. Now, the nose, the end of the nose will always be somewhat with this part right here of the eye. I didn't learn that, it's just that I just noticed. Again with the imaginary line right here. All right. Again, we always need to imagine the invisible grid. Okay. Now, there's, like always, there will be like this part right here. My nose is big, so I know noses. Alright. Again, if you wish to render, just to establish where it is. I mean, it's your world. You can do whatever you want with it. Now, what I do is, if you've seen this from comic book artists, right? That they tend to erase just not that much. Okay, so you're erasing it because I kind of like it. I kind of like the way how the proportion is. Well, initially, of course. Again, you can deviate, which means that you can change the measurement, but not to the point that it will just be exaggerated. Remember, initially what we did is we just, oh, it's recording still, I'm sorry, thought it isn't. Okay, so this will be a tip like that. You always need to be observant. Now, for the nose holes, I always imagine them as, those kisses, those chocolate kisses. But it depends. It depends on what angle. At this point, Bella Poarch is somewhat facing like that. If you're facing like that, right? She's like this. Okay, now that's the nose right there, but that's just the bottom because that is where the wing of the nose will come, and this will be here, the tip of the nose. Predominantly, that will cast a shadow. Okay, I wish I can do a podcast here. It is not live. So I'm still working on that. So canal, imaginary canal. Now for the lips, again, I haven't established it, but her lips is just that. Now the technique of this It's just that instead of you like outlining the lip, you can just do that in one quick stroke. See, you already have the lips. All you have to do is just chisel it, shape it. All right. Now, also for the lips, one pointer, the side of each of the end of the lip is dark. Except for this one right here, it's kind of light, but as long as you can establish the where the lip is, then you're good to go. Now, also, imagine the lip like a bean. There's a bean there. Why is that? Because, for example, this one is a bean, this one is a bean, 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 bean. Okay. Now, that would establish the contours because the lip also has this thing here. So if you will look closely, that will be your basis over there. Okay. Based on the imaginary horizontal lines, the tip of the lip should be right here. Now, the secret for lips, since that it is like, the lip is like this, right? This one's dark, this one's light, and then dark again. So that translates here. Also, since the only good thing about digital art is because you can manipulate the color of your brush. So instead of you like doing the entire outlines, you can just manipulate the color. And we got ourselves a very decent lip. Subject to change as well. All right. So we'll go to shadow. This is helpful in manipulation. Instead of you like doing the color picking, like you need to do this, you need to do that, you do this. You can just go and do that. There's two reasons why I like that technique. Is because one, it's transparent, so you can actually know. You're not covering the entire thing. For example, I don't want to dwell with that. Maybe on my next tutorial I might be able to dwell deeper onto that subject, but for now we're just trying to establish the groundworks or the layout or whatever they call it nowadays. I recommend watching Proco on YouTube. They give an in-depth tutorials on how to do portraits, and pretty much everything. Now, it is again, I encourage you to spend all of your time and effort trying to establish the proportions of the said face. Because again, if you will not be able to establish the proportions right, then it will gonna bite you in the end. So straight line, diagonal, diagonal, straight line. So it correlates. Where did we establish it? Now, I guess this will never be the top anymore. Now the measurement of the forehead will depend entirely where I'm going to show you. Sorry. So for example, this is the measurement. I'll make it more simple. There we go. That will also be the measurement of your here. Now let's test that to see if it is. Hopefully it is. Let's go back to our layer. So there we go. At this point, you can try to render some of the features, like what I'm doing right now. I guess I made a mistake there. It's all about problem solving, my friend. Okay, so doing like that, doing that. Her eyebrows is so... Hopefully we get this right. Because you know, kilay is life. That's what we say here in the Philippine girls. Or maybe not just in the Philippines, but... Alright. Okay, let's just establish that for now. You can do this fast. We can't. If that is the eyebrows. Sometimes there will be like an epiphany. Like, whoa, I think I've noticed something. And then you do that. So that's a good thing if you're going to invest your time and effort on the proportions, because it will give you like an epiphany, like, hey, I think, oh, I see what's going on. I see what's going on there. I see what you're doing, right? So let's just join this together. Okay. Now her eyes is like that. No, just kidding. That's her eyelash. Big ass eyelash right there. Okay. Let's just focus on this one first. Although it is a known fact that you need to work both eyes at the same time. Why? It's because it shows uniformity. I'm having some trouble here. Wait a minute. I'm having some problems there. Let's see what the fuck. Okay, straight. Or maybe the thickness of it. Now, for the bottom. You can draw along with me if you want. Keys that if you're a hands-on type of learner, you can draw with me. Okay, again, we're not targeting realism here. We're just trying to practice ourselves on how we can perfect or improve our measurements, and hopefully we can render this some more if we have time. Trial and error. Okay. I think we have a likeness, sort of. Okay. So there we go. This is also when I do comic strips, I also gunning for detail. If you've seen my comic strips, most of them are realistic, somewhat, not quite, but it does. And I spent a lot of time doing those comic strips. Alright, now what I'm gonna do next is this. This layer right here, I'm gonna put that on the bottom. Do a color picker, make it lighter, and this is what's gonna happen next. Now, this will identify which one's dark, which one's light. Because we're going to set some a depth to the face, so we need like a neutral color for like a base color. Okay, now since we're not be dealing with the colors for now, we'll be just doing it grayscale. So that is, the base is always at the bottom so that you will not compromise your sketch on top. And then if you're going to render it, then that's the time that the layer will be on top. The tools that I'll be using here are two things, well, brush, charcoal, and then the smudger. And I'll show you later on why. But I need first to clean up some of the things, because these are just sketches, right? Anyways, we can modify that later on. It's still a modification phase, even though that you're on rendering phase, there will be some changes. That's a constant thing in life. Changes. Do some cleanup work. Okay, you notice something? I noticed that the jaw is here. Yeah, we'll deal with that later on. Don't worry about it. Now, you see what I did there? You might think that I'm already shadowing, but these are just marks. I'm marking it so that I will know how I can render these things. Establish the groundworks. And this thing right here looks like a mustache, so I'm going to. Okay, I need to smooth things out. Some artists tend to leave their scratch. There's, the scratch. Damn car. Anyways, I'm filming outside because this is where the internet is. Okay. Need to soften it up. So we kind of soften up the blow here. But again, it's your preference. Don't smoothen everything. Some lines you might need them in the future, right? All right. So third layer. Now for the eyes. I don't start with black, like, you know, like jet black. No, we don't. I don't normally do that approach. Ah, damn it. Dang it. Because the reason behind it is, you know, the eyes have this parts. I'll show you in a sec. Just erase that. Since that we're working on a top layer, so we can erase that. If we're doing this traditionally, then apparently it will be very hard or easy. Now, let's say this is like the color for eyes, for example, right? And then we're going to add one more layer, because that is we're going to put the blackest one. It's in the middle, always has been. And then we're gonna darken the top part, just the top part. You know those anime eyes? They have a lot of colors. That's the main principle. This is like a simplified version of it, because you know animes they tend to exaggerate, because it is anime, but the principle is there. Now it is okay for you guys not to get it perfect, unless you're doing commissions, and apparently you have some crunch time involved there. But if you're just doing it for practice, it is okay for you to take your time, look at your reference again. All right. Now, most of the time, there will be a dark shadow here. But you will notice on a reference, she doesn't, right? But just for the hint, because we need to emphasize where her canal is. If you just have one. Okay. And then we're gonna darken this part right. No, not that dark. Don't want to give her a mustache, that's for sure. Unless you're gonna get bashed by Poarch. Don't want that to happen. Alright. Now for the sense of depth for the lips, especially on the top part, we're going to put some highlight on top. See? Just a little smudge it right there. And here as well. A little bit cartoony now, don't you think? Alright. Now, when dealing with faces, you also need to, that's why I would encourage you to work on your anatomy, because for example, if it's not on the reference, because you can't get you cannot get like a high definition photo all the time, especially on the internet. But if you have an idea, you know, as to where you place this muscle over here, place that muscle over there, then you'll not have any problem. The reference will be like, you can work without reference. That's what I'm trying to point out. Now, our reference here has a cut. I said cut over here, so you don't know exactly where the tip is. You can either like car again. You can either like go A. You can just go and try to look for reference elsewhere with the same photo, or just use your gut feeling or imagination. And that is how artists are renowned, their imagination. I know. Alright, so here, for the other people who are drawing along with me, if you feel that you're not doing it right, that's fine. I think I need to get another layer here. Now, one more tip. If you feel that you're trying to do this, right, you know, just to get a feel of things, but you don't want to compromise the things that you already established, another layer. Just go for another layer and that will do fine. See? Even I smudge it, it's not compromising the entire thing. Okay. Alright, I think we need to merge all of these because again, I'm just doing it because I don't have enough space. So we're going to lower that down. Alright. And I just wanted to chisel just to get the sense as to where the edges are. Everything is not final. This Poarch has this kind of... Okay, there we go. Now, looking at the reference, right? Looking at the reference, let me just go another layer here. Her hair is tied over here on the top, right? So that is going to outline it. It ends here. Here. Dang it. Forgot the ears. Now, a general rule for the ears, they always like, well, initially they start here. So in the eyes, let me just try to measure that. See? That is where your ear should be. Now, I'm not a big fan of ears. If I can get away on not drawing ears, I would take that. It gives a lot of effort. But in this case, I will not be able to escape the ears. I think we have a decent likeness. Not realistically, but sure gets the job done. Now here, even though it's kind of simple, but in fact it's one of the most hardest things that I'm dealing with, because the forehead has lots and lots of planes. Planes are like, it's just like, planes are like, for example, this one is straight, straight, straight. if you happen to play PS1 games, you know the graphics are kind of edgy. Those are planes. So for example, this one's a plane, this one's a plane, and this one's a plane. But we can get away with it if you want. Just be sure to control the color, like what I did, and just, you know, smudge it out. Okay, but don't do it all the time, because, you know, smudging is only beneficial if you want to achieve smoothness. Kids are playing outside. Okay, not a big fan of kids. Okay. Alright, so we are... I guess we're almost done here. Anyways, what we're doing right now is just like, you know, trying to familiarize ourselves on how to establish there we go, a highlight. Okay. Now the reason why the eyebrows are like this, some of them are light, some of them are dark, is because, for example, if this is like, I'm going to show you a skull, right? For example, this is a skull. Don't want that. For example, like this is your skull. And this is the, what I call the orbit, right? The eyebrows is not just, it's not like they're just there on top, right? It's actually like this. So if this is like the bone, like this is the bone, right? The eyebrows will tend to go like that. So if you will notice, it will be lighter here, because that is where, because this is the light, right? So this is lighter, it is darker, and the one below that tends to be the dark one. So you see, we're going to apply it. Bella Poarch eyebrows would be slightly lighter over here. Same thing goes here. Okay, so now what I do is just get rid of the Mr. Scully here. Don't need that anymore. Alright, so I think we have a good likeness. Wait a sec. Where am I? Alright, yeah. I'm going to establish the hair. I'm going to establish the hair now. And I just hope that you guys have, like, most artists, they tend to remember everything. Why? For example, this one, I just blocked that out. But I know that there should be like an edge there somewhere. So it'll be a good idea if you can't remember it, at least, like, you know, have an idea as to where you're going to place the highlights later on. Okay, let's just darken that out. You can have it both ways. If you want, you can erase that. Well, you can just go and erase. Erase it like that. Okay, we'll just do it like that. Bella Poarch doesn't have like a very, you know, there. Now, let me just go ahead. Now, since we have already established the base color, we can just go and color the hair here. Let me just show you. See, it will not affect it, right? Even if I do like that, because I am painting under our portrait, so we can just do like that, you know. But of course, the neck. Oop. I don't want that kind of big of a neck there. Possibly over there. Dang it. So just do like that. Okay, you can just go and render it. Let's just merge it together so that we can just do it one clean swoop. Nope. So we just need to finalize this. Oh yeah, the chin. Let's do that. I hope I'm not boring you guys. And it is just, you know, I'm starting my tutorials, but I'm planning this for a very long time. I just don't have the equipment to do it. Now for the chin, let's just highlight that. Now, Bella Poarch is notorious of having a very, like, blush on, is it? Yeah, it is. So let's just go and establish that. What I do, I use this soft round brush. It has the same effect as the an airbrush, but it's much more natural for me. Because if you will notice, airbrush, just get an airbrush here for a sec. For example, this one, right? Airbrush, it can have this, it will have the same effect, right? But it's not controlled. It's like a predetermined, preset thing. But for round brushes, see, it's just like Copic markers, which is so expensive, by the way. I'm dying to get one of those. Okay, so you play with it, you know, you just play with it's not until you get it right. Then going on with their trusty smudging tool. God, this is hard. quite exciting. Okay. Now, most of artists tend to veer away on eye bags, but it's part of the of the human anatomy. So don't be scared of putting those eye bags. I just merged it, and then let's try to lighten up the forehead. Maybe not that light. Lighten here. Lighten there. I just do some finishing touches. Always be mindful with your reference, guys. It's gonna help you along a very long way here. Let me just try to do it. Sorry guys, I'm not used on drawing on a diagonal fashion. We will not be able to draw the other face, you know, the not so happy face, but at least we made one. All right, sorry about that. I'm just you know, trying to rendering some stuff without like totally being carried away, but I guess we accomplished the task of doing a simple portrait sketch of Bella Poarch. And as always, the icing on the cake, highlights. So I'll be using this. It's just like what Adam Hughes, one of my favorite artists, used to say. Highlights are like cocaine. It's very addictive when you get a chance to use it. So there you have it. Alright, so I guess we're done here. There we go. Bella Poarch. Not a realistic portrait, but it's just like in a portrait sketch. The main purpose of this exercise is to get you acquainted on how to do a composition on the face, so that you will not have any problems when you get the chance to do the rendering part. So always bear in mind, always work from outside going in. Outside going in, so that you will know first the contours of the face, and then that is where you go in. Now second, always imagine imaginary grids. Imagine where the where it's placed. Imagine like there's an invisible grid that you're going to base it on. It's all about measurements. And third, it's okay for you to be messy at first. I mean, that's the whole purpose of sketch anyways, is for you to get the feel of things. And the fourth thing I can share with you, and most importantly, be proud on what you do, right? The mere fact that you're doing this, to improve yourself, the mere fact that you're putting your pen onto the paper to try it out is a huge deal, right? It's a huge compliment. and hopefully with practice you will be able to be much more better than me, hopefully. That is the only contribution I can give to the art world, so hopefully this tutorial somehow helped you on how to make a portrait with some easy steps, and the effort that you are investing onto your craft. You're putting much effort. I mean, as long as you're putting the effort on what you do, I mean, that's commendable. And then hopefully that I can share to you the other tutorials. Hopefully that support my channel, and hopefully we can get more content so that I can teach you on how to draw human figures. All right, and there you have it, folks. Hopefully you guys have learned something on that 1 hour video, and thank you very much for your patience and staying with me all throughout this video. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to this channel, please do subscribe and hit the like button as well. But if not, that's okay. I mean, our purpose right now is for us artists to to help each other. Okay, I'm not actually after like 1 million subs. All right, but if you like this video, if you have time, you can go ahead and watch other videos I just made. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Andrew, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.